All right, if you're gearing up for your PCI Level 1 or 2 certification exams, you have come to the right place. We are about to break down one of the most vital parts of your job and your exam, testing.
I want you to really think about this for a second. In our world, what's that one thing that separates a product that lasts for decades from one that fails, causing delays, arguments, and even danger?
You guessed it, it's testing. And look, it's not just about going through the motions. It's about providing cold, hard proof that what you're making is exactly what was designed. Nailing these tests, that's the bedrock of your professional credibility and your ticket to getting certified.
So why do we harp on this so much? Well, testing isn't just some box you check off on a form. It is the language we use to prove that our concrete will do its job, that it meets incredibly high standards, and that it's safe. It's really all about building with absolute confidence.
You know, as a quality control technician, your job is to deal in facts, not feelings. Your whole mission is to verify the mix, to make sure it's compliant, to guarantee safety, and to provide that objective data that screams quality. Look, your opinion is valuable, but your test results, they are undeniable. This right here, this is the core of what you need to know for your exam.
Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty. Every incredible structure starts with its most basic parts. For us, that means the aggregates. And let me tell you, if your aggregates are off, your concrete will never be right. So the very first thing we have to lock down is their size and their distribution.
The cornerstone test here is the sieve analysis, which is all laid out in ASTM C136. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like taking a fingerprint of your sand or your stone. We just run a sample through a stack of screens, each one smaller than the last, to see exactly what we're working with. This tells us if our material is what it's supposed to be, and, just as important, keeps things consistent from batch to batch.
So you run the test and you get a table full of numbers like this. You've got your sieve sizes, how much stuff got stuck on each one, and that cumulative percentage. But what do you actually do with all this data? This is where the magic happens. We use it to calculate something called the fineness modulus, or FM. And this isn't just some random piece of trivia. It's an incredibly powerful number. It gives us one single value that we can track to see if our sand is getting finer or coarser. Why does that matter? Because that consistency is absolutely essential for a workable, stable concrete mix every single day. And the best part, especially for an exam, is that the math is super simple. You just add up the cumulative percent retained on the standard sieves. That's everything from the number 4 sieve down to the number 100. Big note, you ignore the 3/8 inch and you ignore the pan. Take that total, divide it by 100, and boom. Using our example here, we get a fineness modulus of 2.65.
So what's a good number? For most fine aggregate, you're looking for an FM that falls somewhere in this range, 2.3 to 3.1. Think of this as the sweet spot. An FM in this window gives you a mix that's not too harsh, not too sticky, it's just right. Burn this range into your memory. It's a critical benchmark.
Okay, so our ingredients are checked and verified. We mix the concrete, and now comes the moment of truth. This is our last chance to check the concrete's properties while it's still plastic, before it sets in stone, literally.
And first up is the one you'll do a million times, the slump test, ASTM C143. This is our quick and easy reality check on the concrete's consistency. Is it so stiff we can't place it, or is it so soupy the rocks are going to sink to the bottom? The slump test gives you that answer right away, letting you say yes or no to a batch right there on the spot.
Pay attention because you will need to know this procedure for your practical exam. You fill that cone in 3 equal layers by volume, not height. You rod each layer 25 times, making sure the rod just pokes into the layer below it. Scrape the top clean, wipe the base, and then lift the cone straight up, no twisting. The distance the concrete drops, that's your slump.
Next up, the air content test. Now, we're not talking about those big, ugly bug holes you get from bad vibration. We are measuring millions of microscopic, intentionally created air bubbles. These tiny bubbles are like little shock absorbers for freezing water. They are absolutely critical for protecting concrete from falling apart in climates that have freeze-thaw cycles.
And here we have a classic exam question, knowing which test to use when. It's simple. For regular, normal-weight concrete, you use the pressure method. It basically squishes the concrete, and the amount it compresses is the air. But, and this is a big but, for lightweight concrete, those porous rocks will throw the reading way off. So for that, you must use the volumetric method, the rollometer, which physically washes the air out to measure it.
The last test we run on fresh concrete is unit weight, or density. It's exactly what it sounds like. We weigh a very precise volume of concrete. So why bother? Because it's an amazing final sanity check. If the unit weight is off, it's a huge red flag that something is wrong with your batch. Maybe your moisture contents were off, maybe the air's too high or too low. It confirms that the concrete in the bucket is the concrete you designed.
All right, we've gone from raw materials to fresh concrete. Now we leap forward in time to the hardened state. After all those other checks, this is the ultimate report card. Did our concrete actually get as strong as the engineer said it needed to be? The proof, as they say, is in the cylinder.
And let me be perfectly clear. This is non-negotiable. The test cylinders you make are the official stand-ins for the final product. That means they have to be made and, this is so important, cured exactly according to ASTM standards. If you get sloppy here, your tests are worthless. The decision to strip a form, to detension strands, to ship a product, it all rides on getting this right.
Now, both in the plant and on your exam, you're going to hear about different types of strength. Release strength is for pre-stressed concrete. It's how strong it has to be to handle all that force from the strands. Stripping strength is when any product is tough enough to come out of the mold without cracking or chipping. And 28-day strength, that's the big one. That's the final grade, the ultimate design strength the engineer put on the drawings. You have to know the difference between these three.
Whew. Okay, we have covered a ton of ground. So let's boil it all down. Think of this next bit as your personal cheat sheet. The absolute must-knows to walk into that PCI exam feeling ready to go.
Here it is, plain and simple. For your aggregates, know sieve analysis and how to get that finest modulus. For fresh concrete, master the big three. Slump tells you about workability, air content is all about durability, and unit weight checks your yield. And for hardened concrete, compressive strength is your final verification. Know these 5 areas, and you're going to be in great shape.
You know, at the end of the day, every test you run, every number you write down, it all leads to this. Quality isn't just a number on a page. It's a professional responsibility to your company, to the customer, and to the public who will use these structures. Mastering these tests is how you live up to that responsibility. You've got the knowledge. The only question left is, are you ready?